Welcome, everyone, to the Dutch Hall. I'm your host, Pete Van Dyke. Welcome back to another Thursday night in Pine Grove, Ontario, listening to the greatest podcast in podcast history as far as I'm concerned, at least for the ones that come out of pool sheds. I think this one's got to be close to the top. Welcome back. Guys, you know, life is tough, and I know that there's a lot of crazy stuff going on all around the world. If you're watching the TV or listening to the internet or however you use technology, I don't know. But if you're at home doing those things and you're worried about all the things in the world, I'm glad you found Live from the Dutch Hall, because tonight we're just going to soothe you. We're just going to talk about topics and such, things that make people happy. Tonight's topic, you know, it's going to be, no, I fucking hate this one too.
I liked that one.
You did?
Yeah.
It was going great.
Oh, you know what?
I'm
okay. I'm leaving that thing where I just said I hated it in the show, because from now on, this is just, it's supposed to be Live from the Dutch Hall.
One take.
Well, I fucking hated it. The whole thing. It was supposed to be.
You're watching your TVs at home. I don't know what you do.
Did I say that too?
Yes.
Is that on this one?
Yes.
So that's the thing. I never remember what I say on the show, eh?
Yeah.
I had this whole thing worked out, but I messed it up. Even the first one that we did on that other take, I didn't even get that one right. It's because it's not supposed to be done like that. You're just supposed to come to the pool shed and you do what happens.
Just shoot this shit.
And I overthink it. I know. But anyways, there's a lot of people who ask me. They say, Pete, what's your show going to be about this week? What's the topic? And I never have a topic, because I don't do that. I just say, like, we'll just, whatever we talk about, we'll talk about. But usually there is something on my mind. Like, there's something that's been piquing my curiosity, or something that I've been reading about, or something that, a bunch of things that have happened a little bit over time, and they add up in your head, and you say, oh, all of a sudden I've got all this information in my head about a certain subject, and I have no one to talk to about it, because who the fuck would care? You know? So then I just say, well, I'm going to make it a topic on my show. So I'm doing a topic tonight. And I hope this one, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag right away, but I think it's a topical issue. It's something that some people might think is a part of history. I disagree. I think it's very much a part of today's life. And some people think it's about something that happens in another part of the world. And I think that's also not true. It's something that happens right here in our own country and in other free countries in the world, Western countries, and even whatever else countries are, Eastern, Northern, Southern.
Whatever. The other ones, too.
All of them, I don't know, all the countries. And then, but it's a problem everywhere. And you know what? I got to just do a quick experiment to see if it's even a problem in this room right now. I want to ask you, Lee Wallace.
Uh-oh.
You're back in the room. You're here for like the third week in a row.
3 times.
You've been helping me with Discord and all that stuff, and you've been doing it. How much money have I paid you for that service?
Oh, it's a big old zip.
Zero. Kevin.
Don't I pay you
Yes, sir.
to come here?
Yeah, you actually give me gifts. Yes, that's true.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Go
Kevin Van
home.
Dungeon.
Yes, sir.
Also, today, look at, you brought huge technology for the use of this program in order to make it better. You drove over almost an hour to get here. You got to drive home tonight and go to work tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
I must be paying you something for this time, for a man's time. What have I paid you?
A lot of nothing.
Nothing. The Nocturnal Emissions tonight, comprised of Caitlin Van Dyke on keys and Ryan Hill on guitar. Have I paid you anything for your performance this evening?
Absolutely
No,
not.
We're pretty used to that, though.
We are.
True musicians.
So tonight's topic, I should say, is that of slavery. And I think we can all agree it's alive and well even in this room. It's a huge problem today.
Yeah, Pete Van Dyke and his groupies.
Yeah, you're a bunch of slaves.
Yeah.
So we got that and a whole bunch of other stuff to talk about. And you're going to love it. It's a Live from the Dutch Hall show about slavery.
Oh,
Hit the
great.
theme song, people.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey. Actually,
Well
it's
done.
nice to have live music in the room, and it's also nice to have people just show up and be here again. It's you learn. This is when you're part of the Nocturnal Emissions. This is what you got to learn. Caitlin, you've been part of it many times. Ryan, this is your very first time ever being part of the Nocturnal Emissions.
Got it green.
Put that on your resume now. You can say that you've been part of the Nocturnal Emissions, the greatest band in Canadian late night history. You cannot have it taken away from you now.
The
What a
very
credit.
unfortunate name.
What a credit, right? That's what I say. Everyone else that's in the Nocturnal Emissions probably disagrees. They could give a shit about it. But, it's one of those things. I think it's a real badge of honor. And when I got I like to, this is one of my proudest moments. I still got to brag about it. Is that coming up with the name The Nocturnal Emissions and then making to get a band of your friends. Like, I can't play an instrument, right? So I got my friends who can play instruments to get together and form a band. I named them the Nocturnal Emissions because of the show. They have to now do shows at fancy places. They did it at a golf course. They did it at a fancy restaurant in Port Dover. They play in gigs like a martini bar, or they're called the Nocturnal Emissions.
Nocturnal emissions, which means something that I learned in health class.
Right. It's like when you have an emission
Oh, yes.
of goo.
That's what that means?
It means a wet dream.
Oh, my goodness.
That's literally what it
A
means.
wet
That's the
dream.
lame term.
Nocturnal emission. And then, so I just think it's hilarious, and nobody stopped them. You would expect that they'd play like Uncle Buttfuck's Funny Hot or like something like that,
Yeah.
with a name like that. But no, they're playing only high end gigs, eh?
High-end gigs, and the concierge has to come down and say, "Hey."
I've come to, would you
Yeah.
like a valet, or I've come to pick up the Nocturnal Emissions.
Let me get your stretch limo first.
Yeah, and you know what? The marketing behind this is your band too that you're talking about because you are the Nocturnal Emissions.
I suppose so.
Yeah, it's your band.
Current nocturnal emission.
Yeah, so don't knock it.
Aw.
It's also because your logo, one of your T-shirt, your branding for your band. The one thing is that you, it says the Nocturnal Emissions will come in your ear holes.
Ooh.
Right?
What?
That's a tagline.
Yeah,
Excuse
that's the
me.
tagline. You like it?
Yeah, I'm down. I can go with that.
Yeah, right. You're in the band too, Ryan. You are the band tonight.
There you go.
So that means
Whatever rolls.
we'll come in your ear holes.
This credit.
And you-
It's coming in our ear holes.
I object. I
Well, that's your
objectify.
right. That's your right to
I
object.
don't want to have the tagline be "I'll come in your ear holes."
It's just a T-shirt.
It's just a T-shirt. Yeah.
The band. That's one of the things that your band will do with your music.
What we will. Oh,
The music is like
the music's gonna come in your ear holes.
come in your ear holes.
There you go.
Oh, right.
I don't know what you were
now I
thinking.
get it. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking before. I need to get my head out of the gutter.
No kidding.
Whew.
Yeah, the Nocturnal Emissions will come in
What
your
show
ear
does
holes.
she think this is?
Yeah, it is weird.
There goes your G rating for tonight.
Yeah.
The one thing I'm proud of is that that I can say those kind of jokes in front of my daughter now. Because the whole time when your kids are young, and you have to like pretend you don't swear and pretend you're you're a good person. It's
And
like
the kids only half believe you sometimes.
it's exhausting, man.
It is.
Yeah,
It's good
and
to be
then
free.
they end up just being corrupted anyway.
yeah.
But
Well, eventually you
now
realize
I'm
your kids are.
old and weary.
Yeah.
Like I'm used to this by now.
Yeah, you've seen enough of me. I can't hold it together that long, Caitlin. I did it for maybe 10 years. Top. What do you think I made it? 10?
10. I think you made it 10.
I tried my best, but it was tough, to hold it all together. Be those days. Like Kev, when your kids were young, you remember that? Like when Lee, you have kids too.
I
Like
got
you're
some
in
young
it right
ones.
now.
I'm in it
Oh,
right now.
right
Ooh.
now. Man, it's so
That's why he
much
comes
work,
here.
dude. Yeah,
That's why.
Just to
Yes,
let her
that's
fly.
why I have to come here.
yeah, it's so much work.
Therapy.
Catharsis, yes.
Yeah.
Catharsis.
But you remember, like at those times, you just don't even know like how you're gonna do it all. You're just doing it all, and it's like then you keep there seem to be keep being more stuff added to it.
Different layers for sure.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then you're like, wow, man, is this like how much can you there possibly be? And then it does kind of subside. Like,
It does.
yeah, it does. How old's your oldest?
10, going on like 16,
Yeah,
17.
yeah,
I think.
Different problems.
Yeah, 2-year-old's going on to 3 now.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah, I mean, we don't. I don't have kids that age anymore, so I think wistfully about like I miss those days, you know. So like when I
they're
hear about you with a 2-year-old, I'm thinking about all the cute things and all the sweetness when she's excited to see her dad come home from work, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then
You don't remember the diaper blowouts and the.
in the tantrums and the like
No,
the,
you
the-
just you put that aside.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
taking the good ones because they're great. So
I
Yeah.
remember the swearing thing. Mine was 2. I got a ticket, and I forgot he was in the back of the car. And the cop said, "I'm reducing this from 82 to 78." And I thought, well, I go, well, whatever, thanks, buddy. And then I crumpled the ticket up and I go, "Fucking cocksucker." And I hear cocksucker.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
So that was his introduction. But
I remember one time I was backing out of the a garage, and we came really close to hitting the garage with the mirror, and actually Kate was in the back of in the car seat, and she noticed how close it was, and she goes, "Holy shit balls," is what she said, you know. And I was like, you know, where would you hear that one from? And that's an odd expression, you know.
Holy shit balls.
But then I caught myself saying it like later on just by myself, like something startled me, and I was holy shit balls, and I'm like, holy, it came from me. It was like I don't even know if I'm saying it, eh? Like,
somewhat proud.
yeah, so I'm proud that it was like
they're taking after you.
Chip off food.
You're an early influencer.
I'm a weird swearer.
Yeah.
Language.
It is weird how many of the sayings that I have gotten from you, and now I've passed on to my friends.
Oh,
Like
my God.
especially all of the French sayings. I don't know why, but I caught my one friend. I went over and saw my old friend, and she was like, "Qu'est-ce qui se passe?" And I was like, "Where'd you learn to say that?" She was like, "You." Like
I do say some French things, they stick in my head. Eh?
Zut alors.
Yeah, I say zut
Yeah.
alors a lot.
Mon Dieu.
T'es tellement drôle.
Oh, mon
Tu
Dieu.
tellement trop, Daniel.
Oh yeah, oh mon Dieu. I used to also, when I'm with Portuguese people, I like to say acudishk.
What does that mean?
I don't know, they like it when I say it though.
The only one I remember.
I know Kiora sound.
No, it means like it just means like oh my goodness, right? It just means oh my goodness, but it's like it's like something they wouldn't expect, like a not Portuguese
A
person,
normie.
like a not Portuguese guy to know. It's acudishk.
Only one I know is Pop Sitch and
Oh yeah.
Georgia Bad Boy. You know that.
Yeah, I know. That's my
Yeah.
friend Adrian. We grew up with his house. His dad. I can do an impression of his dad, and he would say it doesn't sound like him, but I think it does sound like him. This is my impression of my friend Adrian's dad. I'm gonna do it on the air. Adrian, I go to the bakery, get some pop search. So good for you. I like it.
It is. It is.
I did that since I've been a kid. I would do that impression, and I just stand by it.
It's good. It's a little Mexican.
It sounds like his dad though.
Yeah, it does sound like his
Oh.
dad. I mean, you might say his dad sounds Mexican because I'm nailing the impression.
Oh, Georgia
Dang.
Bad Boy.
Hey, what's the matter, Peter? You hit your head? And one time I rode my bike to Adrian's house, and I was racing my friend Bernie, and then we went around the corner and we wiped out, and I had to get stitches in my head, but I had to go to Adrian's house. So Adrian's dad had to try to cheer me up because I was bleeding from the head. It was actually really, really entertaining. I just like the accent. I really like the Portuguese accent. It's funny to me, just to hear it. Adrian sends me clips of like there's like Portuguese comics that do like Portuguese accents for Portuguese people. Like like most ethnic groups like have their own brand of comedy where they tell inside jokes. Anyways, so he sends them to me because I like him so much. I go see my cousin in Montreal. I don't know why it makes me laugh because we grew up with a lot of Portuguese around this area. Like when we were kids, they were all immigrating at the time we were in grade school. So we would get like a bunch of like brand new Portuguese kids in our class.
Oh, it's the best. Brand new Portuguese kid day.
Yeah, you're like in grade 6, and they're driving in a Camaro.
Bet you he's good at soccer.
Yeah, they would always because they had needed to learn the language. So they would drop them back like about 6th grade.
He's got a beard.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they were all, some of them were born with beards.
That's true.
Yeah. Adrian, I think, had a mustache. When
He had a back beard.
we made up a. I shouldn't say his name, but because it's too late now, right? But
Is that there?
whatever. He's fine. But I was like, we make fun of each other as friends. I think that's kind of what the show is a little bit like. Since the band hasn't been here, the regular group is like some of it's in the music, that's for sure. And it's good that we got you two guys in to play a little bit of the live music. But the busting of balls is something that I think is missing. I liked having Charters here because he was a whipping boy, and not to say that, but at every show you have a fodder, of some sort. Charters was good at taking it, and he would give it back in subtle ways. And a lot of times he'd win. If you looked at most of the listeners, especially the women, would always side with Charters, and which was right.
Always the woman, eh? Yeah.
Well, mostly the women felt for him. They would always feel sorry for Dave because I would be too mean to him. And they would say, stop being so mean to Charters. And then a lot of the guys would write, fuck Charters. That was what I thought was funny about it, And then so that I knew my character was the heel in that relationship. I was the bad guy, right? Like I didn't expect to be the good guy. But I did enjoy. But every week, Kevin and I were talking about this right before the show, every week that guy would come in and do something like a little bit weird. Like I still don't know some of the stuff he did, if it was a work or not. Like he came in on the scooter the one time when he was just wearing a boot.
Yeah, what the fuck?
The sweatsuit.
Yeah, that velour sweatsuit with the no shirt underneath, like a zipper. Like, and that was definitely a bit, And then sometimes just
like a Polish Don.
The green hanky in the back pocket, even the one time.
What?
He had a comb one time in there. Like, he just do one little thing and it would bug me every week, And I'd be like, what is he serious about that shit? Even his haircuts. I don't know about his haircuts. Did he do those on purpose? or was it for the show, Like, was it just for the show?
He's like the ultimate method actor.
I can't figure him out. He's a real riddle.
Yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis of modern Southern Ontario.
Of life, just of life. His whole, he's a mesmerizing human being, So for me, that's why he's my best friend, because I'm eternally fascinated by the curiosity I have in him,
I like that. He's the Dutch Hall Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, he really is. If you want to see Dave shine, and I hope to edit this up because it's almost unwatchable and unlistenable in its raw form. So I have to edit it. But once it's edited, there's some real brilliance in Dave's performance in that Time Machine episode. Did you
I gave him feedback for that one. Phenomenal.
I don't know where it came from. I set that whole show up where it was one. Oh, yeah, missed it.
Oh, we totally dropped the ball.
Oh, I missed it too.
I didn't notice.
It was because Kevin said it, eh?
Oh.
I think it's because Kevin.
Yeah, I don't have the power.
He doesn't have the power yet.
No power.
These guys are green.
That's just respect for you.
You know.
I don't have the power.
Yeah, it is true. You know what was starting to bug me a little bit? Yeah, where the whole band was starting to just say feedback.
Yes, nailed it.
Number one.
Close enough.
Number one, Ryan,
panic.
the panic in
I was
Ryan.
like,
there.
what do I do?
What I think that says a lot about your character, young man, and I really do appreciate what he stepped up and he really did his best there. And what I gotta say is, you know, we'll just take this down. There's no rush here. There's no rush. When Papa says feedback, there you go. Feel good about it. Get some swagger into it. You know, we need to enjoy it. Okay, we got it. I did appreciate you saw it too. See the John?
Oh, he's just like, what the?
I was setting it up. Okay, sorry. What were we talking about? Oh, what were we
Charters, for sure.
Oh,
charters.
yeah. Anyways, yeah, he was. He is a riddle. I don't know what we're
An
talking.
enigma.
Yeah.
You were saying you told him that the Time Machine episode. You told him that he was so good in it. Yeah,
Phenomenal.
because I just set him up and I said, all the people there had costumes and everything, and like it was all like they didn't know anything about it until they got there. Like there was no time to prepare or anything. It was so for Dave, it was just completely him saying like I'm gonna go with it and I'm gonna improv, and he was hilarious. Like he stole the show. He really did.
Mm-hmm.
Great performance. I would be nominated if we were giving out we should maybe give out awards. Eh?
I think so.
The Dutch Hollies. We have to come up with a better award.
Hollies.
The Hollies.
Yeah, when we call it, we gotta think of something better. Eh? How about the? I don't know. I'm not that
Shedsies.
good.
I don't know. The Shedsies.
Yes, Shedsies. I don't know.
It needs to be like we could just call them the charters.
Oof.
The
Oh, we can
Daves.
give his mustache as
Ew,
the prize
that's
for the best
disgusting.
performance of each year. We can give Char's mustache that's in
You
that
and
jar.
It's
And you
like
gotta
the
keep it
Stanley
nice.
Cup. It's in
Yeah,
that jar.
there you go.
Well, there's a black box there on that top shelf, and in that black box there is a velvet lined lining, and in the velvet lining there sits a jar, and in the jar is Char's mustache. He gave it to me for Christmas one year. That is a weirdo. Huh?
That is. It's
I still don't. I still want to do that on stage one time where I go do stand up and then I just say after every joke, right? I'll do my punchline and I'll just look at people and go
like a bird.
3 times. I like to do one progressively higher than the next until 3, and then stare at them right in the eyes until they laugh.
Until they laugh.
What if they
Fully
don't?
them.
That's how stand up works.
Huh?
That's how stand up works. You just intimidate the crowd until they laugh.
Or make them uncomfortable enough so they
Yeah.
just laugh to break the silence.
That's Joe's act.
Yeah.
Succeeds.
That'll be your new Get Her Done right there.
Oh yeah. I'd love it, man, if I could do that.
That T-shirt.
Oh man, it would be like the Ric Flair woo.
You got it.
It would be.
Stadiums will be playing it after goals.
Oh man, I'm gonna be so famous. This is good. I'm the yeah guy. Are you? Yeah. I'll get that all the time.
It
People,
sounds like a velociraptor.
Just gonna want to slap the piss out of people.
yeah, it's me. Yeah, do it. Do it. Do it. I'm not fucking doing it. I'm not doing. Come on, man.
You could fake them. You could be like, and don't do it.
Don't make me do it.
Yeah, or you leave it at you. I get to do it on people's answer machines, like from Cameo.
Yeah,
They hire
man.
me just go.
It's your birthday.
Hey, you know who this is? I'm sorry. All right. Well, this does bring us to that moment of the show for the segment we call feedback. We got feedback.
Feedback.
Motherfucking feedback. Nice. Welcome everybody to feedback. We got feedback. This week's segment is brought to you by our friends at Amazon. If you go to our website and you click on the Amazon banner, you can do any of your shopping. And I think today is Thanksgiving, isn't it, in the States, or is that next week or something?
Next
But
week.
anyways,
Third week. Yeah, this week.
it might be this week. It might be today. Turkey Day for those guys. Well, there's a lot of listeners that are American, and I don't even know when their Thanksgiving is. I think it might be today.
Dutch Hall fact.
But anyways, if you're doing your Amazon shopping, click on go to our website first, and if you click on that banner, not all of the money will go to the rich company. Some of the money will go to the poor podcast. That's how it works. What? I can't hear you. Oh, next Thursday is Thanksgiving, I'm told. Next Thursday is Thanksgiving. So,
Oh yeah, it's the third Thursday.
what's today? The second one?
The second Thursday.
Oh, I don't know. Well, that's great. We'll do a Thanksgiving episode next week. How about that? Where we
Turkey
just
Day. Waka waka waka.
and then we can because
That's a terrible turkey noise.
Waka Waka, that's Fozzie Bear.
Ah.
I'm pretty sure that's Fozzie Bear. Anyways, we got only one piece of feedback, and it was from Rick, Dr. Rick. Believe it or not, he's a real life kind of doctor. Kind of
That's-
doctor.
That is sketchy. That is suspicious. Kind of doctor. I don't want to go to a kind
Well,
of doctor.
What? You don't want to go to a chiropractor?
A kind of doctor.
Oh, kind of doctor. Okay, no. Well, I'm just saying what would you consider a doctor? Any kind of doctor?
Yes.
So, like, even if you were like Dr. Scholes.
Dr. Cosby.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah, it's an honorary doctorate. Dr. Bill Cosby. What? He has multiple honorary doctorates.
He's
Oh,
That's
that's
true.
lovely.
He's losing them here and there.
I'm
but-
sure they're
Not
probably
anymore,
taking them.
probably.
Yeah, maybe they took him back.
Sorry, what did the kind of doctor say?
This guy, no, is that what? It's
He's
so
just
like,
a regular doctor.
no, he's not a regular doctor. He's he's an eye doctor.
Oh, that's a doctor.
That's a doctor.
If you have doctor in front of your name,
Oh.
you're a doctor.
Where are you going? Where are you going?
Mom's like,
I thought she's
ow.
leaving.
She just drinking more.
She's just drinking more. No, anyway, so this is from Dr. Rick. Dr. Rick says, OMG, fisting a pig. Too funny. What a great bit. And it was in regards to last week's show.
Fisting a pig.
Fisting a pig. And this is the mystery of some of the feedback that we get. Is that I honestly believe that this is based on something you listened to on last week's show, but I don't listen to the shows myself because I can't stand to listen to my own voice, which I'm getting better at. I might be getting better at.
It's very soothing.
But I can't remember the conversation about fisting a pig last week. And now what I'm thinking of, we were talking about what animal's vagina most resembled humans.
Yeah.
And I do remember then we had the dolphin pussy bit.
Yeah, that one won.
The dolphin, yeah. And then, but I.
There was definitely no fisting of a pig in here.
So I'm going to have to ask you, Dr. Rick, to please retell me the fisting a pig bit. And if it's good enough, maybe it is a keeper. Maybe I'm going to
Yeah.
be touring the fisting a pig bit. And I'll just go, hey, you ever fist a pig? I think I'm blowing out the whole speaker. Everyone listens to the show. But anyways.
Stop it, Pete.
So I think I'm working out a new act here, man. I am thinking about finishing up some of my jokes and then calling them a day and never telling them again. So then I have to make new ones. So maybe this is my new route. Second album. Just asking me the title of it.
How do you spell it?
Spell it.
A.
No,
Oh, it's an 8. Got an H.
I think it would be an H.
Yeah.
Hien. It would be like the French would say hien,
Oh,
H-E-I-N, and they would be like hien.
that'd
This
be
is not
awful.
that. This is Dutch
No.
more.
They'd be like, ho, ho, ho. Yeah.
Parlez-vous Jacques Larue? That's my French. That's France French, though, not to be mistaken with the Quebec French, which is I get my eggs side by each. Like
Close the light.
that. Yeah, that's how. There's a difference. One sounds nice and romantic, and the other one sounds just hilarious.
Trashy. Trailer trash French.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. Can they get year round? I don't know much. We don't have much listeners in Quebec. You know that? Out of all of Canada,
That's a shocker.
Quebec, yeah, they don't like us as much there. There's like only like a couple. Yeah.
There was a couple.
No, that was probably me when I was visiting Montreal down
Oh, right. Probably 0 of them.
Yeah.
Like,
After tonight, for sure.
Now we can talk. We can talk shit behind their backs.
Awesome.
well, I just think their accent's funny. That's all. They don't like my accent when I try to speak French. That's for sure. Because when I go
Oh,
there and as
God.
soon as I say one word, they're like, "Don't bother, buddy."
Yeah.
Don't say it like this. They
Yeah.
go, "Don't bother, buddy."
Yeah. Bonjour.
Go outside and get
Hello.
yourself a Big Mac or whatever. Like that.
I have noticed that the Quebecois people, they, their accent lends itself to being judgy just a little bit.
Yeah. They seem like they don't like me. That's what they don't like me. That's what it seems like when I go there. Is that I'm not thought of fondly. That's what it seems like. Not in Montreal, but as you go further into like rural Quebec or whatever, they're just very unimpressed by my grade school French.
Montreal's more English, no?
Yeah, Montreal's
Yeah.
just like accepting of. It's an international port. Like they just know there's people that from everywhere. But in the, I think they're more protective of their culture as you get more in the rural areas, more resistant to change and stuff too, probably. That's the same as what we are apparently, because we're out in the middle of nowhere and we don't we don't change. Anyways, that is it. We only had one person that gave us an email at livefromthedutchhall@gmail.com or went on Instagram or Twitter and anything like that about last week's show, and it was Dr. Rick. So thank you very much for that. If you'd like to give us a piece of feedback, please do so at one of those things I just said, and we'd be happy to talk about whatever you want on next week's show or on a future show. So thank you for everyone that does that. I really do appreciate when I do get a message from one of you guys. And so tonight we have a topic, and the topic is slavery. And I don't know why. It is one of those things that's like it's been on my mind a lot, and part of it is because I've seen it with my own two eyes, like for real slavery, like not what I just like how I enslave you guys for tonight, but like I see real life slavery like in Canada, and it bothers me. It makes me think about it a lot, and I just thought, I started looking into it, and then other things kept coming up, and it kept being a topic. So I'm like, I'm gonna just talk about slavery tonight, and so I thought we'd start from the beginning of slavery. And in order to start from the beginning of slavery, I thought I've been doing a little bit of Bible reading through this pandemic. And so we're going to start a new segment that we call Bible Stories with Pete. Now, as long as we're talking about slavery, we have to think about the beginning of slavery. Now, I honestly thought, and I swore when I read Genesis, when we somehow, if it wasn't Adam and Eve, it was at least Cain or Abel. One of them had slaves, and then I started doing the math, thinking like, well, they're first people. It's got to be like a relative that they're enslaving, or they didn't consider the slave a person, and they were the first of a certain kind of person. And before that, there was lots of people, but this like first Hebrew or whatever didn't think the rest of them were people. They were just worthy to be enslaved, But then I went back because I wanted to check my real facts for this episode, and it turns out I couldn't fucking find it. I was looking in the real Bible. I must have made it up. So the first,
Touch Hall fact.
yeah. So good thing I didn't say that, But then, so the first thing that it's about slavery in the Bible is it's a story about Noah. You know Noah, the ark guy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows about Noah and the ark, but there's another story in the Bible about Noah. There's two stories in the Bible about Noah. One is the ark, and the second one is a story about after the ark, where it's just a short little story where Noah, when he got off the ark, he became a great farmer, and he would he grew grapes, and he made wine from the grapes.
That's
And-
what I would do
Oh,
first
I've
in the
heard
new
this
land.
story.
Yeah. And then when he one time he was sampling his harvest, and he became intoxicated from the grapes, and he had 3 sons. The one son's name was Ham, believe it or not.
Ham?
Yeah, it sounds delicious, eh? His son was no shit named Ham. Anyways, the other one's name was like, there was like Ham, and there was like Zebhem, and there was like some other, I forget the third.
Another ham.
It was like, they sound like the Three Stooges,
Like
right?
a drunken slur name.
Yeah. I don't remember the third guy's name, but it was like Shem, Ham, and
Mo.
Shem Ham. Yeah. I don't know. Curly Joe. And,
And Bill.
anyways, but Ham's the one that actually finds his dad drunk and passed out naked.
Ooh,
You know,
salacious.
right? So what Ham does is he goes over to his brothers and he says, "Hey, fucking dad's out there naked," you know, like you gotta get a load of this, man. The guy's like totally hammered. He's cock straight out, and so the other 2 brothers, they go down to with a cloak in order to clothe their father and hide his shame, but they were they didn't even want to look at him. So they back up with their eyes closed to
Oh,
put
no.
the cloak on him because they want to show him respect, right? Or at least that's what they tell the old man when he fucking sobers up, right? Anyways, then Noah wakes up. He finds out about the whole thing. Like, who put the cloak on me? Oh, the other 2 did. Fucking Ham just went and laughed at your dick. Right? And then, so Noah goes, well, fuck Ham and all his descendants. They are going to be slaves to you, the other 2 brothers' descendants. You know, like you're going to be the Canaanites. Like Ham has the Canaanites. All those Canaanites were slaves, right? And the other 2 branches of that family became these other people who enslaved the Canaanites, which were Ham's kids. So it was like the birth of slavery, kind of in the Bible, was through Ham laughing at Noah's nakedness. And I don't know if you know that little piece of trivia.
Uh-huh.
And you also learn about the Bible. It has stories about a lot of stuff that they don't tell you in school. Because I know they didn't tell us that in Catholic school about Noah getting
Not
drunk.
a chance.
No, we get
No.
drunk and-
Laughing and his kid laughing at his dick.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in this Bible. I tell you, you wait till there's some real dirty stuff. No one should let your kids read it. It's dirty.
I might give it a read.
Kev, I'll tell you, the whole thing is wrought with like. There's some parts you just be like, this is bullshit. It's just lineage, you know. I don't want to read this. This person had this person, had this person, had this person. But usually they're trying to connect 2 good people, right? So they're saying like, because this is all like, they're saying this is all like a type of person, you know. So they go from Adam to Noah, then Noah to Abraham, and then Abraham to, and then branches from Abraham and Ishmael, and that became the Muslims or whatever. And then they go to, then it kind of goes on to David, and then eventually to Jesus. You know, Jesus was the one that was supposed to save him again. But then it was not really Jesus. It was supposed to be Joseph's son that was going to be the next one in line, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jesus was not Joseph's son,
Nope.
right? He was God's son, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, right?
The ego. The ego.
So, it's just DNA,
Yeah.
right? Maury said it.
Yep. This is not your father.
Imagine if there was, like, if Jesus and God both had to go, not Jesus,
Mary.
God and Joseph
Oh, okay.
both had to go with Mary on Maury to see whose kid it was.
And she runs off the stage crying, I told you I was a virgin.
Right. And then God, because that's the whole thing. If it's God's baby,
Mm-hmm.
then she's telling the truth.
Right.
What if it's none of their, if it was neither of
Oh,
them?
my
Dun,
goodness.
dun, dun.
What if it was one of the 3 wise men?
Yeah, probably.
Never know.
No.
Well, they came after. The baby was already born. Oh, maybe they're coming back.
Yeah. Just to check up.
Yeah, see what if this kid's worth bringing back to be one of mine, or if I'm just going to let this girl that I had a little night with behind the bush saying I was like an angel or something.
And it was the guy who gave the frankincense.
Yeah. You know what the truth is about that era? When Mary had the virgin birth, there was a lot of virgin births reported in births. Did I say births? But rebirths reported like in different folklore or different writings and stuff like that. Like I think different faiths have different. Do you know about this? There's different like ladies that had a baby without having
Sure.
sex. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the thing to do then, right?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's like Umbrella Academy where they all just like all these like virgin births had all these like. But I think
yeah.
otherwise you don't want to think you're God's mom banging, right? It's not what you want, right? So
Right.
like no matter who your God is, you don't want to conjure up their mom having sex, you know. So you just pretend they're
Make
virgins.
it an impossibility.
Yeah, why not? You can rewrite history, right?
Yeah.
When I die, they're not going to tell the story of Pete Van Dyke. They're going to tell the story of what's remaining of the memories of people that interacted with me for the brief times they did. It's going to be some version of me that's not me,
Yeah.
you know? So why not just say I was a virgin?
Or it's a good way to cover your tracks if you're a loose lady.
At least it's a
Yeah.
it's a believable story.
That I'm a virgin?
Yeah.
You're not Westland Dixie. Huh? No, that's true. I do come across virgin-esque.
Virgin.
I didn't want to ask.
Well, you know, my hymen grew back a couple years ago. Yeah.
Aw. That's so sweet.
Yeah, married life. So then I want to tell you some interesting. You know, I want to tell you. Everyone thinks slavery. They think about the traditional, like going to Africa. And Americans are going to get some black people to bring them back to make them slaves and work on their plantations and stuff like that. And that is a very very simple version of slavery that's easy to understand, and it's very much in your face. And that one is like only one of many forms of slavery. And really, the Americans or British or whoever originally got the slaves to bring them, they were getting slaves from anywhere they could. And this goes back to they would get the slaves from India. If you go to Trinidad, it's half Indian slaves and half African slaves, and then there's the Vikings would just go to whoever was closest and just make them slaves. You know, like they were
Whoever they defeated.
whoever was weaker.
Yeah.
And I think in slavery, even in modern day slavery today, it's not a racial thing. It's a matter of finding a person that's in a position where they're weaker than or they have a. Their position is less, it's so that they're in more of a need. And if you can offer them a proposition to make them do what you want, they become your slave.
Paying them just enough.
Yeah,
Just enough that they can't really advance.
yeah,
But you're still paying them technically. But they're enslaved to you because they can't go anywhere else.
they can't go anywhere else. You can't do it. And then like some of them are, like some of the examples that I see are like right in your face, you know, like where they're like, you know, it just looks bad, like that these people seem like they're trapped, you know. I want to talk about that like in a bit, but I want to tell you one more interesting slavery story that I don't think people know, and that is that when the American slaves were freed, and this was I think President Monroe under his administration, they said, you know, it's a good idea. A lot of these freed slaves, they'd like to go back to Africa, so let's send them to this country, and they can start a new country in Africa. So they send them to Liberia, right? And these people go there. They become the ruling class in Liberia. They form the whole country really, and they form all the government. But the first thing they do when they get there is they look around for the other people that live there
They're weaker.
who all hadn't been bred for size and strength and dominance in order to make them better, workers.
Yep.
So they're like, they go over there and completely like dominate these existing tribes that are there and enslave all of them to make them their slaves. They just did what they were freed from.
Right.
You know, that is the story there is that that blows my mind is that, you know, you think that if you were enslaved yourself and that you would think this is the worst thing ever. I never would do that to anyone, but it's like the first chance they got, they just
Put on the other shoe.
yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of countries, it's actually still legal to have slaves, like China, North Korea is, I guess, the worst. The Russia and there's a whole bunch of them. Philippines, but the main ones. But even in Canada, this is the story I want to tell you, is that I see these things all the time. Like I've seen these situations all the time. There's a van, right, in this area, right, where there's a person that's in the van. They have a van full of people that come from another country, like usually Vietnam or some Spanish country or something like that. There's like a couple different places they come from. And then you're not allowed to talk to any of the people. But you talk to the guy that's driving the van, and then they work out a wage with whoever needs the work done.
Oh.
The people come and work for them. Then you pay the guy, and then they leave with the people, right?
Hmm.
A lot of people they approach a lot of people that are like farmers and stuff like that have peak seasons where they need all the help they can get, and they just go in and they offer these deals, and usually they're pretty good. Like usually they're if they're not minimum wage, they're below minimum wage, below market value at least of what you would have to pay other people. So it doesn't seem completely above board, but I don't think most people think it's as slavery, right? But then because you don't really want to ask too many questions. I think that's really what it is. What?
I was gonna say, like, if they got hurt or something like that, it would be they never worked for you. They never.
Oh yeah, no, they've never been on payroll
Right.
anywhere. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's just a side transaction they work out to get some apples picked or whatever they need to get done, and then they just probably pay the guy cash, and then he leaves with the money, and God knows how much of that money goes to the actual employee.
Yeah, not much.
And I don't know. I'm only speculating what I think, but this is what I think they're up to. I think those guys are like have went to whatever country they're from, gone to a place where the life is tough, and they've told these people, I can get you to the U.S. or Canada or wherever. I can get you over there, but in order to do that, then you have to. I
Yeah.
got a job for you over there. I got accommodation for you over there. Everything. But you have to, like, you know, I'll set you up for the first, like, 2 years or something like that. And then when they get there, they end up, like, charging for all the...
Yeah, you owe me for the plane ride. You owe me for this. You owe me for that.
Jeez.
Yeah. And now they're in
You're in
debt to them.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're in servitude. They don't have the proper paperwork. If they don't do what they're told, they get deported.
And they have no way of knowing that they're ever paying it off, ever.
No.
Because they have no idea what the guy's charging. They don't even know what they should make.
And they're kept from communication with everyone else.
Yeah.
I've heard stories where they've been, the guy has to leave, and then he'll lock the barn to make
Oh.
sure they're locked in there so they don't leave.
Wow.
Wow.
Like I've heard stories like that. You know, I've heard stories where he's offered to pimp some of them out and stuff like that
Wow.
too. Like that, like I've heard, like that's where it's been. That's where I mean, like you hear these things and it bugs you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it bugs you. And I've seen it for years. You know, where you kind of like, what is that? It doesn't make sense. It kind of smells bad. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but you're like, and I know it might even like some people be like, what are you talking about? Don't ruin this. You know, like it's cheap labor and all that stuff. Like, that's the problem, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like that's the whole problem. You know, you don't want to encourage those situations to continue. Because most of the slavery that exists today is is that sort of situation where it's like people are indebted, so you're working off the debt.
Trapped.
You're trapped. You're like, or sometimes it's just a situation where, this is even in Bible times. There was a drought, and then the Israelites had to go up to the Egyptians and say, hey, listen, we're kind of fucked. We have all sheep, you know, that need to eat, and
So we'll
And
build
we
a
got-
pyramid.
and so we'll be your slave for 7 years, and that became a lot longer than
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Because then the administration changed, and they're like, yeah, you're slaves. You're going to stay our slaves.
Yeah.
And at first they kind of respect them. They're like, no, this is just a deal we worked out. Because I think a lot of times the word slave, because the Bible's been translated so many times, I kind of think that the word slave just like an employee a lot of times. Like it's not really a slave. It's more like they worked out an arrangement where, because there wasn't a lot of money, like it wasn't like a cash society, you know.
Mhm.
So they would just be like, hey, you can sleep on my property,
Here's some bread.
and I'll give you food and stuff like that, but you have to like do work around the place, you know. And then they would just be like, that would be the arrangement worked out, you know, for survival. And the terminology would be called slave or whatever, but it's not really slave, because that guy could still say, no, I'll just go live somewhere else, you know. Anyways,
Interesting.
that's not anyways, have you heard about that? Have you seen that?
I was thinking you were going to talk about worm pickers, to be honest with you, but
What are worm pickers?
I see the vans. When I used to work nights, there's vans in fields and
Oh yeah.
white vans, and they're picking
Oh, yeah.
picking worms. I thought that's where you're going with it, but
Do you think they're slaves?
I have no idea.
I don't think so.
I've
They're not
never-
going to be in the worm trade. I wouldn't think they're going to.
You don't think it's lucrative?
I don't think it's going to be. They're like, I think they just have to go out at night because it's like that's where you can pick worms.
Yeah.
They wear the lights on their head.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen those guys. And you know what's the worst job in the world, which seems like slavery, is a chicken catching. Have you ever
Oof.
done chicken
Never
catching?
done it, but it does not
No,
sound.
I've
Or
heard
turkey would be worse, I
Or
think.
turkey
but-
catching, yeah, would be awful. But yeah, like the chicken catching is like, I think the worst job in the world. I think it really is. And the people that agree to do it are like nuts, eh? Like it's like they're crazy.
They should do a show on Discovery
They
instead
should-
of the deadliest catch,
Probably.
Yeah.
the chicken catch or something.
I think if you did a whole show on hanging around with chicken catchers, like real honest chicken catchers,
Yeah.
because they're like an eclectic bunch. Most of them are, you know, like have lived a tough life, and so you, I think it would be a fucking great show. I
Mhm.
think it would be so entertaining if you like that sort of thing. If you like that,
You
if you
should
like,
get it going. Are you feeling us out for a new show here?
well, no one here knows any chicken catchers, do you?
Mm,
I don't know any chicken catchers. I'd try it once for
I
a
would
show.
do it for a show if we were all like saying, okay, we're gonna go catch someone's chickens for them. I don't even know if they do that anymore.
But if they said you got to do it for 8 hours, I'm sorry.
well,
yeah, or more than once.
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you get everything you needed in that one take?
Yeah, I'll do one barn. Like I'll clean the full barn out.
Yep.
Like, but then that's it. The one barn, then I'm not doing it again. I know it's a shit job.
Mm-hmm.
It's like even now working for my brother. I mean, I you know, like it's good work, but it's like I ain't gonna do it forever. You know, I'm gonna do it for a while.
After a while, like, "Oh, this real labor's not where it's at.
Yeah, my body's not gonna do it forever.
Yeah.
And it's not my thing.
No.
It's like it's too far. Maybe I just compare myself to my brother because he's been doing it for 20 more years. You know, like it's just like I don't know if I'll ever be.
You'll never have
that
Paul
call-
strength.
I don't know if Paul. I don't know. I think I can take him now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's strong, but he's in pain. He's
Okay.
been working that hard for that long. It breaks you down.
Kidney and back shots.
Yeah,
Started
I
off.
think if
The
I can
knees.
weather the early storm
Oof.
with Paul, which is it's a very, very hard storm. You know, you need to go in brace for that first bit of the storm.
So you're saying Paul's cardio is not so well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I know I've also know him better than anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing. I wish he was here because I could say it to his face, because this is what I truly believe, and I would say this in front of him. I have many times. Is that he should on paper he should kick my ass, right? Seems clear.
Mhm.
Seems like more of a man than me. Seems stronger than me. Has got my weight advantage. He's meaner than I am. By all accounts, he should dominate me and make me his bitch, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, I fought him more than anyone else in the world. Like he's my brother.
Yeah, for
right?
sure. And no holds barred fights.
Yeah, like and the guy is a one-trick pony with an overhand right. And you come at me with that fucking thing right off the hop, and you got nothing else. You got nothing else. You miss me with that thing, or I tie up that right hand, you're fucked. We're at stalemate, and most of the time we're just at stalemate because I got him locked up. But if it was and then if I can keep him locked up for a bit to tire him out, that's all it takes, like maybe a minute or two.
How many of those could you take?
What, punches from Paul?
Yeah.
An overhand right, I
Yep.
could take one, and I would fall down and be asleep for a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's honest.
Yeah. I would never want to be hit with one of those.
Nap
things.
time. Yeah.
No, that's a dangerous weapon.
Mhm.
That's why I avoid it at all costs.
He's got a fist like a brick too, doesn't he?
Oh, he hits you hard, man.
Yeah.
I've been punched by him before, but I don't think I've been punched 100% by him. Because I'm still his brother.
I've never had the pleasure, nor do I want it.
Yeah. But he one time, I think this is funny. He tells a story where he goes to lunch at this place in Port Dover, and they're like, Paul, you can't come in here, and he goes, why? He goes, you're kicked out for life. And they go, he's like, why? And he goes, that bouncer had a glass jaw.
Oh. It's his fault.
Yeah, you can't blame me for that. That was years ago.
Took a punch.
Oh man, hire somebody with at least can take one. Anyways, that's probably been about a show, has it?
I have no idea.
I think I got through most of the slavery stuff is it's really non-discriminatory, eh? That's the other thing about it. When people think about slavery being like black people being enslaved by white people, it's not that way at all. It's like all creeds and colors, all races, all even social classes, because of like people that are put into the sex trade and all that stuff, they're still being taken advantage of. And if you go even further and want to go then to kind of an existential way of looking at this whole thing, like we all in the industrialized world and an industrialized society like we're in the tail end of it, is that we're wired to believe to be valued by going to work for somebody else to make the lion's share of money
For somebody else. Yeah.
for other people.
Yep.
and we're getting a little tiny pittance of what we're bringing in, and they're keeping us there. They're saying we're free to leave, but if you got a mortgage and you're close to pension and you're this and that, are you not enslaved to that company for the fucking 30 years you're there or whatever? Like,
Yep, I agree.
so to me, I think that slavery's all around us. We all got a little bit of it in us, and really, I think that if that to be a free person is really like kind of what I would strive for. Like, I think we should all kind of strive for it, but like, I think that hopefully we'll get closer to that. But shit, man, I think that. What do you think? Do you think we're gonna get closer to that with now that everything's be automated or something like that? Like, you're not gonna have people that are gonna.
That's the argument for universal basic income, right?
Yeah,
like everybody gets a bit of money, and then you can live your life based on that amount of money, and you can do what you want, or you can work your ass off, get that money, and be more. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's whatever you.
Well, I'm interested though. Like, if there's nowhere to work, like there's no job, nothing to really do, then, what are they going to value? What are they going to value? Like if they, because like if someone else is making all the shit, it really is going to be, it'll become cheaper, right? And then if this becomes cheaper, then you don't need as much to buy it. If you don't need as much to buy it, maybe you don't need as much shit. I mean, even with the pandemic, we don't use as much shit, but if we're locked down or whatever, I think we live simpler lives, and we're not commuting to work every day, and we're not like trying to.
That's where the arts will thrive.
That's what'll be different, because
Yeah.
now all of a sudden you can't automate music, you can't automate comedy, you can't like automate like a painting.
Podcast.
Yeah, like the human element of life, I think, in this post-industrial world is going to become of value. I think that what makes us uniquely human is going to be what's going to be valued finally again in this kind of world. I'm a little disappointed I'm so far along in life that I'm not going to be able to enjoy it more, because I think that's going to be a better place to be. But
It's the new renaissance coming up.
I think so. I do. I do. Once we get over all this addiction to shit
Stuff,
that we
yeah.
have, then we can just start like realize, like, even the companies that were paying all this money to have a bunch of useless employees that added nothing but stress to everyone. working in all these fucking high-rise office buildings and on expensive real estate, doing jobs they could easily do from their house or their phone, you know, like for in half the time, if not a quarter of the time of what you're paying them to do it, you know, like it's so much waste.
The pandemic slowly made us kind of realize that.
Don't you
Like,
think,
people
right?
were kind of like, oh,
Forced
well,
it.
kind of forced us to slow down and kind of look at everything.
Yeah, at the beginning it was so clear, and everyone was talking about, oh, this is going to be real change, and you know the Earth's going to become cleaner and all this shit. And then everybody forgot about it all the time.
Yeah.
And then they realized that
Slid
those
back in.
dolphins weren't really in Venice and all that was Photoshop or some fucking thing. And I know, but as you were right though, there was we did notice that things where it seemed to be a little bit easier or slower, and
Yeah,
there
the
might
pace
be
was
other
better.
ways to do it. And I think even now, like the amount of people that had to work from home and they're still working from home, that'll stay. And the stuff that I preached to my employer like fucking 10 years ago, where I said, why do I have to come to work? There's nothing to do here. I could do it from my computer at home. Like, it's stupid for me to come in. And then they would say, you got to be here 8 hours or whatever.
Ugh.
I'm like, I could tell you I'm on a call and you never know I'm not here.
Or you could sit in your office with your feet up and the door closed, and they'd never know you were doing nothing.
Well,
Just hitting tab on your computer.
Yeah. I remember saying that to George one time because I would be
Fuck
like,
George.
I'd be like, you know, your
you,
porn
George.
blockers don't work here. I'd be like, you could easily breach them. You just have to go do a search for something else. So watch, I can show you Britney Spears pussy right now on a work computer. Watch, I'll show you. I can do it. And he's like, what? No, you know.
There's the title for the show.
What was it?
Britney Spears pussy.
It's so old. I don't know if anyone is. Oh, I'm trying to think how it could be. She has a song called "I'm a Slave."
Does she?
Guys, play it out. Learn it and play it. No, I'm saying learn the Britney Spears song "Slave" quickly, and then play it out. You have 30 seconds. Go.
No.
All right, then. We're gonna have to end it with just that. I think if you guys have listened to the whole show, then thank you. It's been a fun one for me to be, and I'd like to thank you for listening each and every week. Anyone that does, and if you'd like to send us a piece of feedback at livefromthedutchhall@gmail.com, or you go to Instagram, we're Dutch Hall, and we're that way on Twitter as well, and Live from the Dutch Hall on Facebook. And we're also on LinkedIn, or I'm on LinkedIn somehow. I know you. I think it's just Pete Van Dyke. You can also follow me at Pete Van Dyke. Anyways, also I forgot to say, the members of the Nocturnal Emissions this week are from the band The Valedictorians, and they're available for booking as well. I should have gave that information out a little sooner in the show, but maybe I'll put it on the tag. But look them up on Facebook and stuff. The Valedictorians on Instagram. They're there for a follow. And until next week, we will see you NT. See you next Thursday.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Nice job. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.